KSI vs Joe Fournier set to main event Misfits 07 on May 13th, of course at the OVO Arena. Of course, this is supposedly one of JJ's last warm-up fights before he gets ready to possibly face Jake Paul towards the end of the year. But of course, behind the scenes, negotiations for this KSI Jake fight are kinda long. Jake recently announced that he will be fighting Nate Diaz on August 5th. Because of this, KSI claimed that Jake is actually now the one that's actually ducking, as JJ's team has sent Jake a couple of contracts that were all denied. So it looks like this fight might not happen this year if Jake wants other plans other than the KSI fight, so that's kind of a bummer. However, KSI is still looking for other big fights like Salt Poppy, the winner of the Kingpin tournament, Tommy Fury, etc. Despite all that, KSI is still continuing his boxing journey and is facing a 10-0 professional boxer in Joe Fournier. Also, there are other exciting fights on the undercard, of course, like Deji vs Swarms and Salt Poppy vs Anthony Taylor, which we'll probably talk about later in this video. Now, how exactly could KSI vs Fournier go? Of course, this is JJ's first challenge and we'll see what he's really about through this fight. But the real question is, can he be able to win and prove to Jake Paul that he beat a pro boxer before him? In August 2022, KSI faced the GOAT, Pineda, who was a pro boxer from Mexico, but we know Pineda wasn't using 100% of his power during the fight, which made JJ win, of course. KSI also faced another opponent, Swarms, who was another feared in the influencer space, but for some reason JJ still made easy work with both of them in the same night. However, a lot of people weren't impressed with KSI's performance, so JJ was left no choice but to up the levels. During Misfits 03, it was first announced that KSI was going to fight Dylan Dennis until, of course, Dylan pulled out due to some contract disputes or him being a pussy. In January 2023, JJ faced Temper instead as a replacement and showed that he was on another level with a way better style and technique than he previously had. JJ was able to knock out Temper in the first round itself, and everyone was impressed at how much KSI has improved. After this fight, Joe and KSI had a face-off that was building up to their potential fight, which of course is now happening. Now, what exactly does Joe Fournier bring to the table? Now, Joe Fournier technically has more experience than JJ by sharing the ring with people like David Haye, and could probably cause JJ some problems that JJ himself has to overcome. So now, who do I think would win? Now, you probably expect me to straight away say KSI, right? Well, no. I'm just joking, but I will say it won't be that easy for JJ. But if he's able to get Joe out of there early, that would technically solidify him as the best YouTube boxer, as he's beaten an actual pro boxer before Jake Paul. But I guess it more so depends on how Joe performs. Not saying he's like Tommy Fury level or whatever, but JJ putting a beating on an undefeated pro boxer before Jake, on paper it would look very good. Plus, I think Joe technically has more wins than Tommy, but the wins aren't against the toughest level of opponents really. But even if JJ beats Joe by split decision, it'll still be impressive either way. However, we could be wrong again, as Tommy sort of proved the level difference between pro boxers doing it their whole life and YouTubers who just picked up the sports recently when fighting Jake Paul. But to be honest, I won't be all that surprised if Joe somehow pulls off the win, but it would look kinda bad on KSI, to be honest. I mean, on the bright side, if JJ loses, it'll probably build up the KSI vs Jake fight even more, as they both would have now have one loss to pro boxers. But I doubt JJ would actually take the loss as lightly, so right now I'm leaning towards my boy JJ to get this W. Joe Fournier is a lot older than Tommy, so I don't think he would be as durable to dominantly win on JJ. Age somewhat plays a huge factor in boxing ability somewhat, so we gotta take that also into consideration. So if JJ wins, who's next? The original plan for JJ was to fight 3 times this year. The Temper fight in the beginning of the year, the Joe Fournier fight in May, and December would have probably been the mega fight KSI vs Jake Paul. However, KSI wants to fight one more time just for the sake of it, possibly in August. He claimed he wanted the winner of the Kingpin tournament by then, so we'll just have to wait and see who's going to win this tournament. If KSI beats Joe, I feel like these other guys should be easy work for JJ, and just a fun type fight before JJ sets to fight Jake, or maybe even Tommy Fury at this point. Also, there's some other fights happening on this card, of course, like Deji vs Swarms and Salt Poppy vs Anthony Taylor, and I'd quickly like to talk about them as well. Let's first talk about Deji vs Swarms. Now honestly, I kinda wouldn't be surprised if this fight goes the full distance. Of course, with Swarms he's improved a lot since the fight with KSI, and he was able to stop Ryan Taylor within the first round with one jab to the eye. However, Deji technically has more experience and should be able to beat Swarms, and he has to, but of course we know Deji's history with him not taking fights seriously. Of course, if Deji takes this Swarms fight seriously and trains like a madman, we could see Deji pulling off another victory and possibly, I guess, a late knockdown on Swarms, but of course we'll just have to see what Swarms brings to the table. Me personally, I feel like Deji will still win, but I feel like Swarms will put up a good performance and surprise a lot of people, so you never know. For Salt Papi vs Anthony Taylor, this one's also going to be pretty interesting. Anthony Taylor has been in the ring with pro boxers like Tommy Fury and Idris Verger, so he has experience and should be Salt Papi's tougher opponent. With Salt Papi, he's shown a level of technique that is on an even higher level than most influencer boxers, even higher than people like Jake Paul and KSI themselves. Honestly, I don't really know how this fight might go. I can't really see Salt Papi winning by knockout this time. Maybe, most probably by split decision, but in the end I'm gonna have to go with Papi, or it could even be a draw. Either way, this fight is also pretty interesting in general. If Anthony wins this, he could have a higher chance of getting the KSI fight like he's been wanting to for a while, but of course we'll just have to wait and see what happens in this fight. Anyways, let me know what you guys think in the comments below about this upcoming KSI fight and this upcoming Misfits event in general. Thank you guys for watching my prediction short analysis video of this fight. Let me know what other videos you guys want me to do in the comments below. I also have other big videos I'm working on alongside these short stub videos, so stay tuned. Be sure to like, subscribe, hit the bell so you never miss out on brand new videos. As always, thank you guys for watching. I am Mega Shadow signing out. Peace.